Welcome to my world. I am Bastion, keeper of forgotten stories. And this is my story for today. There was once a boy who grew up in a house where love was never given equally. A boy who learned too early that silence could be louder than screams, and that sometimes the people who are supposed to protect us are the ones we must one day escape. You may remember his story, the story of two brothers. One raised beneath the warmth of approval, the other beneath the weight of fear, humiliation, and silence. A childhood shaped by shadows, a life spent trying to understand why. And eventually, he found a way out. He found someone who believed him. He found love. He found a new home. And slowly, painfully, he learned how to live again. But escaping the past is not the same as leaving it behind.
For many years, he carried one final hope.
Perhaps one day, those who had hurt him would finally understand. Perhaps they would listen. Perhaps they would remember. Perhaps they would simply say, "We were wrong." So he waited. He explained. He tried to make peace with people who had never made peace with him. And while the years passed, his life grew farther and farther away from the place where his story had begun. He crossed borders. He built a new life in a foreign land. He became a husband, a father, a man with a home of his own. Yet somewhere in the distance, the old voices were still calling. Not loudly, not every day, but enough to remind him that some wounds do not disappear simply because we leave the room where they were made. And then, one day, he discovered something about his family. Something that would force him to look at the past once again.
This time, however, it would not be about childhood. It would not be about survival. It would not even be about forgiveness. It would be about something far more difficult.
Letting go. Because sometimes the final battle is not the battle to be heard. It is the battle to stop needing to be heard. And sometimes, the greatest price we ever pay for blood is the time we spend trying to make blood feel like family. This is the story of that price. This is the price of blood. because that was his name, was barely more than a young man. When he first understood that survival would require distance, therapy had shown him things he had spent years unable to see. The memories were real, the fear was real, the damage was real. And for the first time in his life, someone had looked at him and said,
You are not what they told you that you were.
Beside him was the woman who would become his wife. She did not ask him to forget. She did not tell him that family was always family. She simply stayed. And slowly, Jonas began to rebuild. Then came an opportunity. A job far away in another country. It was not a grand escape. There were no gates opening, no trumpets, no certainty that everything would work. There was simply a road and a decision.
Jonas took it.
For the first time, he was building a life that did not belong to the people who had raised him. But the letters still came, words written by the person who should have told him.
You can do this.
Instead, they carried fear.
What are you doing?
You will not manage.
They will take your children.
You will fail.
You will come back.
The old voice had crossed the border with him, but this time, Jonas began closing the door. Slowly, not completely, not yet. Because leaving people behind is easy. Leaving their voices behind is much harder. Years passed, and slowly, Jonas's wife joined him. Then came their children. A new home began to take shape, where once there had been nothing but uncertainty. There were no miracles, no sudden transformation, only small victories, one after another. They learned the language, they learned the streets, they worked, they struggled, they adapted. They built friendships, made plans, and created routines. And with every passing year, the life they had once only imagined became real. Jonas watched his children grow. He watched his wife smile. He watched their home slowly fill with things that had once seemed impossible. Warmth, laughter, security, peace. They had built something the old house had never taught Jonas how to create. A home where fear did not rule the walls, where children could speak without being punished for having a voice, where love did not have to be earned. A home where nobody had to wonder whether they were worthy of being loved. And yet, something inside Jonas remained unfinished. The past had become distant, but it had never completely disappeared. For years, Jonas carried one belief. Perhaps, if his family finally understood what had happened, the wound would finally close. Perhaps they simply did not know. Perhaps they had remembered things differently. Perhaps, if he explained everything carefully enough, they would finally see him, so he tried. He explained, he remembered, he wrote, he spoke. He returned to memories he would rather have forgotten, and opened wounds he had spent years trying to heal. He did not ask for revenge. He did not ask for punishment. He did not ask for the years he had lost to be returned. He wanted something much smaller: recognition. One simple sentence. One sentence that could have changed everything. We were wrong. But the sentence never came. Instead, Jonas became the problem. The boy who had once been silenced was now accused of disturbing the peace. The person who had been hurt was described as the one causing harm, and every attempt to speak about the past was turned against him. At first, Jonas fought it. He tried different words, different explanations, different ways of telling the same story. Perhaps they needed time, perhaps they were ashamed, perhaps they were afraid, perhaps they simply did not know how to admit what had happened. So he waited, and tried again, and waited again. But years have a strange way of revealing things that words cannot. Slowly, Jonas began to understand something painful. Some people do not protect their version of the past because it is true. They protect it because admitting the truth would destroy the world they built around it. A family can spend decades building a story when nobody was cruel, nobody failed, nobody looked away, nobody caused the damage. And when someone finally speaks, the story begins to crack. Not because the truth is dangerous, but because the truth changes everyone inside it. Jonas realized he was no longer fighting forgotten memories. He was fighting a version of reality that other people needed to survive. So Jonas continued living. He stopped waiting for an apology. At least, he tried to. His children grew older. His home became stronger. His marriage became deeper. The life around him became louder than the voices behind him. And for almost a decade, he stopped asking questions. He stopped looking backward. He stopped trying to make people understand. Perhaps this was what healing meant. Perhaps peace meant accepting that some doors would never open. And then, one ordinary day, Jonas discovered something he had never known. Something hidden inside the history of his own family. Something that had happened while he was busy rebuilding his life, far away from the place where his story had begun. At first, it seemed like nothing more than a forgotten detail. But the more he learned, the more the old memories began to change shape. A promise, a decision, a secret arrangement, something given, while something else had been taken away. And suddenly, Jonas understood that the past had not simply remained behind him. It had been moving, quietly, in the shadows, while he was building a future for the first time in many years. Jonas looked back, and this time, what he saw is not the child he had once been. He saw the price of what had been done, and he was not yet ready to understand how much that price would cost him. The information was simple, almost ordinary.
A property, a gift.
A promise made many years earlier. A promise that had been kept for his brother. Jonas stared at the documents for a long moment. He did not understand what he was looking at. The words were simple, the dates were clear. The signatures were real, and yet, something inside him began to move. It was as if someone had taken the memories of his childhood and placed them beside the documents. Suddenly, the past rearranged itself. He remembered the unequal treatment, the things given in secret, the rewards, the praise, the quiet promises made to his brother, and the things that had never been given to him. He remembered being told to stay quiet, to accept, to stop asking questions, to understand that some things were simply not for him. For years, Jonas had tried to believe that these memories belonged to another life, a childhood that was over, a chapter that could never be reopened.
But now, the documents were sitting in front of him.
And they connected the past to the present. The inequality had never really ended, it had simply changed its form. His brother had been given something valuable, something that could be measured, something that could be owned.
Something that could be passed from one generation to another.
And Jonas had been given silence. For a moment, he thought about the money, about the value of the property, about what such a gift could mean. A home security, a different beginning, a different future.
He imagined, just for a moment,
what his own life might have looked like if the same generosity had ever been shown to him. Then another thought appeared.
Perhaps it was never really about the property.
Perhaps that was why it hurt so much.
Because the documents were not simply proof of something that had been given to his brother.
They were proof that the old division between them had survived the favored child and the other one. The one who received and the one who learned not to ask.
Jonas looked again at the papers, and for the first time,
he understood the meaning of the title. The price of blood. Blood was supposed to mean
family, inheritance, belonging.
a bond that could never be broken. That was what people said. That families stood together.
That blood was thicker than everything else.
That parents loved their children equally.
That brothers remained brothers.
No matter what happened. But Jonas had learned something different.
Sometimes, blood becomes a currency.
Sometimes love is measured in what is given.
And what is withheld?
Sometimes inheritance is more than property.
It becomes a message.
You belong, you matter.
You are one of us, or you are not.
And sometimes
the people who share your blood
are the ones who teach you its price. Jonas could have spent the rest of his life calculating what had been taken from him.
He could have counted every injustice,
every lost opportunity,
every unanswered question,
every moment when someone had chosen his brother
and looked away from him.
He could have created a list, a lifetime of evidence, a ledger of pain.
And perhaps part of him wanted to.
Because there is something deeply human about wanting the scales to become even.
Wanting someone to finally look at what happened
and admit that it was wrong.
But Jonas had already spent years
trying to make people see.
And now
he was beginning to understand that
no document could force someone to feel regret.
No amount of evidence could create empathy in someone who had chosen not to have it.
He closed his eyes for a moment.
The young boy was there again,
standing in the shadows, listening, waiting,
wondering why his brother received warmth while he received silence.
Then the image disappeared.
Jonas opened his eyes.
He was no longer that boy.
He was a grown man, a husband and father.
A man who had built a life far away from the place where those memories had begun.
But the past had just placed a price tag
on something he had spent years trying to understand.
And that realization brought another question.
If this had happened,
what else had he never been told?
What other decisions had been made
while he was fighting simply to survive?
What had been given?
What had been taken?
And how much of his past had been decided without him?
Jonas looked at the documents one more time.
He knew then that the story was not finished.
Because the inheritance was not the end of the story.
It was only the beginning of another battle.
A battle over property.
A battle over truth.
The battle over what remained
after a lifetime of silence.
And somewhere deep inside,
Jonas already knew.
This time, the price would be far greater than money. This time, when Jonas's father died, the family had to face the past again. There were documents, property, inheritance, decisions that needed to be made. Jonas lived far away. His life was already elsewhere. His first thought was simple. Let everything go to Mother. Let there be peace. He did not want another war.
He did not want another fight.
He wanted to close the chapter, but peace cannot be built by one person alone. Calls became arguments. Arguments became accusations. Promises became something else. And eventually, the matter reached a courtroom. Years passed, 3 years of waiting. Documents, lawyers, memories, exhaustion. And a man who had already spent most of his life fighting to prove that he had been hurt
Found himself fighting again.
only this time over what remained. Eventually, Jonas made a decision.
He gave up his share.
Not because he believed it was fair,
Not because he had forgiven the past.
but because he was tired. He wanted his life back. He wanted his wife, his children, his home, his peace.
He thought the matter was finally over.
Then, he discovered the final arrangement. Everything had been transferred in a way that left him with almost nothing.
His brother had received everything that remained.
Then Jonas finally understood.
This was never only about property.
It was about belonging. Jonas had spent decades trying to receive from those people something they had never intended to give him. A place, a voice, an apology.
A simple acknowledgement.
You were one of us. The realization hurt more than the money.
Because money could be lost.
But time could never be returned. For a while, Jonas saw the number everywhere, 2 million. It was only a number written on documents, a number attached to property, a number that could be calculated, divided, compared, and yet it followed him. 2 million. A number large enough to change a life. A house, security, freedom, possibilities.
Years without financial fear.
A different beginning for his children. A different future sometimes. Jonas imagined what could have been. He imagined the house he could have bought, the things he could have built, the opportunities he could have given his family. He imagined what those 2 million might have meant if they had been given to him. And sometimes, anger returned. Not the anger of the child he once was. Something quieter, older, more complicated. The kind of anger that comes when a person finally understands how much was lost,
while everyone else continued living as if nothing had happened.
Sometimes the old question appeared again.
Why me?
Why was I given so little, while he was given so much?
Why was I expected to accept everything?
While someone else was allowed to receive.
Why did nobody ever look at the difference?
And sometimes Jonas would calculate, not because he wanted revenge, but because the human mind has a strange way of trying to measure injustice. He counted what could have been his.
He counted what had been given away. He counted the years.
The opportunities, the possibilities, and the number remained 2 million. For a while, it was almost like another voice inside his head.
2 million.
You lost 2 million.
They took 2 million.
You could have had 2 million. And every time the number returned, the old wound seemed to open again. But then, Jonas would look around at his home, at his wife, at his children, at the life they had built together. He would hear laughter.
He would see ordinary mornings, a cup of coffee.
A familiar voice from another room.
Children growing older.
Small conversations.
Plans for the future.
Nothing extraordinary.
Nothing that could be written into a legal document.
And yet, Everything that mattered was there.
The life he had built.
Without their permission, without their approval, without their inheritance.
Without their help.
And slowly,
something inside Jonas began to change.
the number remained the same.
2 million.
But its weight began to change.
It became smaller.
Not financially, emotionally.
Because Jonas finally understood something.
The greatest loss was not the money. The greatest loss would have been spending the rest of his life trying to recover it. He had already given them enough years.
He had given them his childhood.
His fear, his silence, his questions.
His attempts to explain.
His hope that one day they would understand.
He had given them years of his adulthood.
Trying to prove that what happened to him had been real.
He had fought for recognition, for fairness.
For a simple acknowledgement, and now
he understood that there was another price he could pay.
Not in money and time.
He could spend another 10 years thinking about what he should have received.
Another 10 years imagining different outcomes.
Another 10 years waiting
for someone to admit what had happened.
Another 10 years turning toward the same shadow.
Again.
And again.
And again. Jonas looked at his family.
And he knew he would not give them the rest.
The 2 million became a shadow.
A painful shadow.
A reminder of something that had been lost.
But only a shadow.
Because a shadow cannot hurt you by itself.
It only follows
when there is light behind you. And Jonas had spent enough of his life staring at what was behind him.
He began to understand that he did not need to recover everything he had lost.
To become whole.
Some things could never be returned.
Some years would always remain gone.
Some doors would never open.
Some people would never say they were sorry. And some money
would never become his.
But there was something they could not take.
The years ahead, his family, his peace.
His ability to choose where he looked for the first time.
Jonas realized that the question was no longer,
what did they take from me?
The question had become,
what am I still willing to give them? And the answer was simple.
Nothing.
Not another year.
Not another sleepless night.
Not another explanation.
Not another piece of his peace.
The 2 million remained.
A number in memory, a shadow.
But shadows cannot own a man.
Unless he keeps turning toward them.
And Jonas
was finally learning to face the other way.
Jonas stopped explaining. He stopped defending himself. He stopped asking people who had refused to listen to finally understand. He stopped waiting for an apology. And eventually, he stopped calling. There was no dramatic confrontation, no final scream, no final argument, no revenge. Just silence. But this silence was different. The silence of his childhood had been forced upon him. He had been told when to speak, when to remain quiet, what to remember, what to forget. What he was allowed to feel, this silence, was chosen. For the first time in his life, Jonas was silent because he no longer needed to explain himself.
He did not hate them.
He did not spend his days imagining their suffering.
He did not wish for them to lose everything they had.
He simply no longer needed them. And that was the difference. For years, Jonas had believed that walking away meant giving up, that cutting contact meant admitting defeat, that refusing another conversation meant surrendering the possibility of being understood. But he finally saw it differently. There are moments when continuing the fight does not make you stronger. It only keeps you standing in the same place, and Jonas had spent enough of his life there. He had already explained.
He had already remembered.
He had already spoken.
He had already waited.
There was nothing left to prove, nothing left to convince.
Nothing left to repair alone.
For the first time, he allowed himself to accept something painful. Some people will never understand what they did to you. Some people will never apologize. Some people will never admit that they were wrong, and sometimes the closure you are waiting for will never come from the people who hurt you. It has to come from you. Jonas began to understand that forgiveness did not mean returning.
It did not mean trust.
It did not mean another conversation.
It did not mean pretending.
That the past had never happened.
And it certainly did not mean opening a door
that had nearly destroyed him.
Forgiveness could simply mean
putting the key down. Not because the door was unlocked, but because he no longer wanted to enter.
Jonas thought about the boy he had once been.
The boy who had waited for someone to come.
Someone to notice.
Someone to ask what had happened.
Someone to open the door.
Nobody came. So many years later, Jonas finally understood that he could become that person himself.
He could take the boy by the hand
and walk away.
Not into darkness,
but towards something new.
His wife was waiting.
His children were waiting.
His home was waiting.
Life was waiting.
And behind him,
there was only the same room.
The same voices, the same explanations.
The same unanswered questions. Jonas stood there for a final moment.
He did not curse them.
He did not thank them.
He did not ask for anything.
He simply looked at the door.
Then he closed it.
Slowly, quietly.
Without hatred.
Without revenge.
Without turning it into another battle.
He closed the door.
Not because he had lost,
but because there was finally nothing left behind it
that he needed.
And for the first time,
Jonas walked away
without looking back. Years later, Jonas rarely thought about the old house. Not because he had forgotten, because he no longer lived there. The walls were still somewhere in his memory. The voices, the rooms, the silence.
The things that had happened behind closed doors.
But they no longer felt like home. They belonged to another life. A life that had shaped him, but no longer controlled him. For many years, Jonas had believed that inheritance meant what was left behind by those who came before. Property, money, a surname, blood. Things passed from one generation to another, as if they were proof of belonging. But he had learned something different. His real inheritance was the life he had built himself, a wife who stayed, not because she was obligated to, because she chose to. Children who knew what love felt like, not as something that had to be earned, but as something they were allowed to receive. A home where fear was not used as discipline, where silence was not demanded, where questions could be asked, where mistakes could be forgiven, where a child could say,
I am afraid.
And someone would listen. A home where tears were not weakness, where vulnerability was not punished, where nobody had to earn the right to be loved. Sometimes Jonas wondered what would have happened if he had never left, if he had stayed inside that old world, if he had continued believing that blood was enough to make people family. He imagined the years passing, the same arguments, the same silence, the same wounds being carried from one generation to the next. He imagined his children learning the same lessons he had once been forced to learn. Be quiet. Do not question. Do not speak. Do not make trouble. Accept what you are given. And then he looked at his children. He watched them laugh. He listened to them argue about small things. He watched them make mistakes, ask questions, dream grow. And he understood the story could have continued. The same fear, the same silence, the same shadows, but it had not. Because someone had finally broken the chain. Jonas had broken it. Not by destroying the people who had hurt him, not by taking revenge, not by making them suffer. He had broken it by refusing to become them. That was the victory, not the property he had lost, not the money that had disappeared from his future, not the inheritance that had been given to someone else. His greatest inheritance was something no document could transfer. Peace, love, joys, and the knowledge that his children would never have to heal from the childhood he had survived. For the first time, Jonas understood the strange irony of his story. The people who had once tried to convince him that he was worthless had unknowingly given him the reason to build something different. They had shown him exactly what he never wanted his own family to become. And so, he chose differently. Every day, in the smallest moments, in every conversation, in every embrace, in every time he listened instead of silencing, in every time he chose patience instead of fear, in every time he told his children,
It is okay.
you are safe,
You can speak.
you are loved. That was his inheritance, not what had been handed down to him, but what he refused to hand down.
Jonas had lost things.
There was no point pretending otherwise.
Some losses could never be repaired.
Some years would always remain behind him.
Some doors would never open again.
But the chain had ended with him.
And that was worth more than any inheritance.
There are many ways to measure wealth. Some measure it in houses, some in gold, some in land, some in numbers written on pieces of paper. But Jonas had learned another way. He measured wealth in mornings without fear, in a woman's hand resting beside his, in children's laughter, in a home where the past was not allowed to become the future.
He had lost money.
He had lost relatives, he had lost years.
Perhaps he had even lost the possibility of ever hearing the words he once waited for.
I am sorry. But somewhere along the way, he stopped needing to hear them. Because the truth does not become false simply because someone refuses to admit it. And family does not become love simply because people share the same blood. Jonas had spent years fighting for a place in a family that had already decided he did not belong.
Then one day, he realized something. He had built a family of his own.
And in that family,
He belonged completely.
so he stopped fighting. He stopped looking back, he walked away. Not with hatred, not with revenge, not even with victory.
He walked away with
That was the greatest victory of all, because the darkness had been handed down to him as an inheritance. But Jonas made a choice. He would not pass it on. The bloodline would continue. The shadow would not.
And so, the price of blood was paid.
Not with money, not with revenge.
But with the one thing no one could take from him again.
His life, his peace, his family, his future.
Sometimes,
the greatest strength is not fighting to be loved,
or understood, or respected.
Sometimes, the greatest strength is walking away and never looking back.
Not because the past no longer matters,
but because it no longer decides where you are going.
And perhaps
that is what freedom truly means.
Not forgetting the darkness,
but refusing to carry it into the light. The bloodline continues. The shadow ends here.